Add or subtract as indicated. Example A, we have open parentheses 7x cubed plus 2x plus 4, close parentheses, minus open parentheses 5x cubed minus 4, close parentheses. Now, although it is listed that way, really what we're talking about is we have a trinomial minus a binomial. Good news is we already know how to approach this problem. All expressions must follow gems. So starting with G, we look within the grouping symbols. Is there anything we can do to simplify? No. So we move on to the next step, which is E for exponents. Are there any exponents that we can apply or deal with? No. So we move to the next level, which is multiplication or division. Now in this case, there appears to be no multiplication or division. However, it is very subtle. Because we have these parentheses, we must check immediately in front to see if anything needs to be distributed. In front of the first trinomial, there is no value immediately in front, which means we can confidently write the trinomial with no parentheses. Now, looking at the binomial, 5x cubed minus 4, we look immediately in front and what we see is a minus sign. That is where we are going to have to distribute. You may think of that as the opposite of, meaning the opposite of 5x cubed minus 4, or you may choose to view it as a -1 that needs to be distributed. Regardless we do need to change the signs. So the first trinomial remains 7x cubed plus 2x plus 4, but now we distribute that minus sign. The opposite of 5x cubed is minus 5x cubed, and the opposite of -4 is a positive 4. Now we have cleared out all parentheses or grouping symbols and we clearly see all our terms. We're now ready for the final step of GEMS, which is sum and difference. This is where we can combine any like terms. We always start with our highest exponents first, which in this case we have 7x cubed minus 5x cubed, which combines to give us 2x cubed. Next, going in descending order, would be 2x and any other x terms. But that's the only x term, so we keep plus 2x. And then we look for our constants, our plain numbers. Notice we have a 4 plus a 4, which combines to give us 8. This is our simplified answer. Example B is open parentheses 3x squared plus 2x minus 2, close parentheses, plus open parentheses negative 2x squared plus 5x plus 5, close parentheses. Now because of the parentheses, I can view this as a trinomial plus another trinomial. All right, let's approach this using GEMS. First, we look within the grouping to see if we can simplify. And in this case, we cannot. So we move on to E, exponents. Nope, no exponents we can do. So we move to the next level, which is multiplication or division. In this case, because we have parentheses, we must check immediately in front to see if anything needs to be distributed. In the first leading trinomial of 3x squared plus 2x minus 2, we notice there is nothing immediately in front, so the parentheses are not necessary. Looking at the second trinomial of negative 2x squared plus 5x plus 5, immediately out front we have a plus sign. And a plus sign means there will be no sign changes. There is nothing to distribute, so we do not need the second parenthesis set. So we can freely write it as minus 2x squared plus 5x plus 5. Now that we have removed all grouping symbols and checked to see if there was any multiplication or division, we are now ready to do sum and difference. In other words, combine our like terms. We always start collecting with the highest exponents first. In this case, we see 3x squared minus 2x squared, which combines to give us 1x squared, or x squared. Next, going in descending order, we look for our x terms. We have 2x plus 5x combines to give us 7x. And then finally, we have our constants, or plain numbers, which in this case is -2 plus 5, which simplifies to +3. So our simplified answer is x squared plus 7x plus 3. For problem C, we have a trinomial minus another trinomial. It reads, open parentheses, 7a squared minus 3b squared plus 10, close parentheses, minus, open parentheses, b squared minus 2a squared minus 12, close parentheses. Like the previous problems, GEMS is still running in the background, so we look inside the grouping. Can we simplify? No. So we move to the next level of exponents. Can we evaluate any exponents? No. So we move on to multiplication division. In other words, we need to see if anything needs to be distributed. The first trinomial of 7a squared minus 3b squared plus 10 has nothing immediately in front, which means the parentheses are not necessary. The second trinomial of b squared minus 2a squared minus 12 has a minus sign directly in front of the parenthesis, which means we do need to distribute or change the signs of the terms within that grouping. So what is the opposite of b squared? It becomes a negative b squared. The opposite of negative 2a squared creates a positive 2a squared. And the opposite of negative 12 creates a positive 12. So now our expression reads 7a squared minus 3b squared plus 10 minus b squared plus 2a squared plus 12. Since we've taken care of multiplication and division, now we're ready for sum and difference. So let's start with our first term, 7a squared. Notice we do have another a squared term. 7a squared plus 2a squared combines to give us 9a squared. Next, alphabetically, we look at our b terms. We have negative 3b squared and negative b squared. Well, negative 3b squared minus 1b squared. Since they have the same signs, we add and keep the sign, and it will make it minus 4b squared. And then final, we have our constants. 10 plus 12 combines to give us 22. Our final answer is 9a squared minus 4b squared plus 22.